Precautions to be taken before the earthquake. Residential areas should be rigorously identified. Slippery and lowlands should not be open to settlement. Dwellings should not be built on inclined lands with loose soil. Structures should be built resistant to earthquake effects. In accordance with construction technique and construction regulations. In the zoning plan, houses and buildings should not be built in places other than the places reserved for housing. The building should not be built near steep yards and into steep gorges and valleys. Too much snow falling and building on the slopes from avalanches should not be done. The durability of existing buildings should be improved. Earthquake insurance should be applied to the houses. In addition to these measures, we should take the following precautions in the placement of our daily items in the house to protect against damage that cannot be structural, that is, from the building and not from the items. The goods and office materials placed on the cabinet should be fixed with plastic holding materials or adhesives to prevent them from slipping and falling. Stoves and other heaters should be fixed to the wall or floor with solid materials. Cabinets and similar items that can be knocked down should be fixed to each other and to the wall. If there is a gap between the fixed item and the wall, a filling material must be placed in order to reduce the impact. Chandelier hanging on the ceiling and wall, air conditioning, etc. devices should be hung with hooks and away from walls and windows so that they carry their weight where they are located. Cabinet doors with heavy items should be kept tightly closed by attaching mechanical locks. By placing metal profiles under white items that may slide on the counter, they should be prevented from slipping. Toxic, explosive, flammable materials should be secured in a non-falling position and stored in a non-breaking manner. Phosphorus identifying labels should be placed on these substances. Elastic band or wire can be added to the front of the shelves. Small objects and bottles should be placed inside boxes so that they do not bump into each other and topple over. Against gas leakage and fire, the gas valve and electrical fuses must be automated. Hazards on the roads to be used to exit the building immediately should be eliminated. These roads should be marked. Items that can block the exit should be removed from the exit road. Extensive exit routes must be created. External doors should be used. Emergency exit doors should not be locked. Emergency exits must be illuminated. The cots should not be placed next to the window and heavy cabinets that can be knocked over, and there should not be a shelf with heavy goods on the cot. Disaster preparedness plans should be made with the participation of all individuals at home, at work, at the apartment, at school, and this plan should be reviewed every 6 months. From time to time, exercises should be done in accordance with this plan. How to communicate with family members in case of disaster or emergency, alternative meeting places and the contact person outside the area, home, workplace, school, outside or outside the neighborhood that individuals can reach should be determined. Important documents, ID cards, title deeds, insurance documents, health report card, diplomas, passport, bank wallet etc. Copies should be prepared and stored in a watertight manner, and a sample of these documents should also be found in the contact person outside the region. According to the characteristics and size of the residence or workplace determined by the building management, appropriate fire extinguisher must be kept and periodic maintenance should be done. This devices, it should be kept within easy reach. Its location should be known to everyone. It should be firmly fixed to the wall. It must be maintained by the relevant company every year. Once used, it must be refilled. Not used during an earthquake. Sign should be hung on the door sides of elevators in buildings. What to do during an earthquake? If you were inside the building at the time of the earthquake, there should certainly be no panic. Unfixed cabinet, shelf, window, etc. keep away from items. A triangle of life should be formed by crouching under a table supported by sturdy chairs, if any, or next to items that may provide protection such as a full and bulky seat, sofa, full chest. The head should be placed between the two hands or protected with a protective material, pillow, book, etc. He should be expected in this position until the concussion passes. Find a safe place, get down on your knees, cover your head and neck, hold it steady so as not to fall. It should not be run towards stairs or exits. On the balcony should not be exceeded. It should not be jumped down from balconies or windows. Absolutely no lift should be used. Phones should not be used except to report emergencies and fires. Matches, lighters should not be lit, electrical buttons should not be touched. If we are in a wheelchair, the wheels should be locked and the head and neck should be protected. Kitchen, factory, laboratory, such as where there are work tools, January, oven and such devices should be closed, materials that can be poured away. Electric, gas and water valves should be closed after the shake has passed, and stoves and heaters should be extinguished. Other security measures should be taken and the necessary items and materials should be taken and the building should be immediately abandoned from the road identified before and taken to the assembly area. The head and neck should be protected by the kneeling closing holding movement in order to form a triangle of life in the hallway or under the desk, in the classroom or in the office. Keep away from windows and items made of glass. If you are in an open area at the time of an earthquake, it should be removed from power lines and poles, trees, other buildings and wall bottoms. Be prepared for the dangers that come from around by squatting in open land. It should not be found under slopes where there may be landslides, stones or rocks may fall. If you are in such an environment, you must quickly move to a safe environment. Be cautious against flue, glass shards and plasters that may fall from buildings. Caution should be exercised against hazards from underground sewage, electricity and gas lines. It should be moved away from the seashore. If you are driving at the time of an earthquake, if you were cruising on the roadway at the time of the concussion, if your location is safe, you should approach right without blocking the road. The ignition switch should be left in place and the windows should be closed and waited inside the vehicle. After the concussion stops, go to the open areas. If the vehicle is not in residential areas or in a safe place, next to trees or power lines or poles, on a bridge, etc., must be stopped, left on the ignition switch and go to open areas away from traffic. If you are in a tunnel during a concussion and you are not close to the exit, the vehicle should be stopped and run down and lying on its side, feet on the abdomen, and hands and head and neck should be protected. Sit down, grab hold. If you are in a closed parking lot, the head and neck should be protected by lying on the side of the vehicle and lying on the side of the vehicle. Huge masses like ceilings, tunnels that could fall from above, maybe crush the vehicle, but it won't destroy it. If you are in the vehicle, you may be crushed inside the vehicle by a piece that falls on the vehicle. If you're on the subway or other public transport, unless necessary, they should definitely not get off the subway and train. You may be electrocuted or you may be hit by another subway or train from the other line. You must hold onto a tightly fastened hanger, railing, or anywhere inside the subway or train until the shaking is over, and follow the instructions given by the metro or train personnel. What to do after an earthquake? If you're in a closed area, make sure you're safe first. Then check if there's anyone around you can help. Fires after earthquakes are very common secondary disasters. So if you smell gas, turn off the gas valve. Open the windows and doors. Leave the building now. Clean spilled hazardous materials. Place the moving phone handsets on top of the phone. Take your emergency kit with you, move to your neighborhood meeting point. Listen to the warnings you will receive through mass media, such as radio and television. Leave streets empty for emergency vehicles. After every major earthquake, there are always aftershocks. Aftershocks become sparse over time and their magnitude decreases. Aftershocks can cause damage to damaged buildings. Therefore, damaged buildings should not be entered until the concussions are completely finished. What should be done in the main earthquake should be done during aftershocks. If you're in an open space, note these by paying attention to the damage around you. Stay away from damaged buildings and power transmission lines. First, help those in need of immediate assistance in your immediate vicinity. Then go to your neighborhood rally point. Join the charity work. Help disaster victims who need special attention: the elderly, babies, pregnant women, disabled people. If you're trapped under the rubble, check your situation before you panic. If your mobility is restricted, do not attempt actions that would risk your life for exit. Know that rescue teams will make an effort to reach you as soon as possible. Keep your movements under control to use your energy in the most efficient way. If you can use your hands and feet, try to announce your presence by hitting water, heating, gas installations, the floor. If you can use your voice, try to hear and call rescue teams. But use your energy in control. Click the link below to get the best product in the market. It's an affiliate link.